Hi, little guy. I'm still here with little Maisie, and Malcolm is right there, and Munchie's right there. Oh, okay, want to see them? Okay, here we go. Let's see this one. I have to preserve the spot for a moment. Now we're looking out the window. That's weird. Okay, Munchie watching the birds. There's a bird right there. Munchie's watching, and Malcolm's watching. Not sure if you can see Malcolm. Wait a second, how do I even get Malcolm on the screen? I can't even do this. There's Malcolm, I hope you can see him. Anyway, back to me and Maisie and the book. Okay. Maisie took the space where the computer was, so how am I going to exactly read, but I'll figure it out. Oh, she used to dream about this little girl. Okie dokie. We're going to read these two poems about cats. Okay. The kitten playing with the falling leaves. See the kitten on the wall, sporting with the leaves that fall. Withered leaves 1, 2, and 3 from the lofty elder tree. Through the calm and frosty air of this morning bright and fair, eddying round and round they sink, softly, slowly, one might think. From the motions that are made, every little leaf conveyed some small fairy hither tending, to this lower world descending. But the kitten, how she starts, crouches, stretches, paws, and darts, first at one, and then its fellow, just as light and just as yellow. There are many now one. Now they stop, and there are none. What intentness of desire in her upturned eye of fire. With a tiger leap halfway, now she meets the coming prey, lets it go at last, and then has it in her power again. That is William Wordsworth, who's my favorite poet. I didn't know he wrote a poem about a kitten. Here's another one called Country Cat. Where are you going, Mrs. Cat, all by your lonesome lone? Hunting a mouse or maybe a rat, where the ditches are overgrown. But you're very far from your house and home. You've come a long, long way. The further I wander, the longer I roam, the more I find mice at play. But you're very near to the dark pine wood, and foxes go hunting too. I know that a fox might find me good, but what is a cat to do? I have my kittens who must be fed. I can't have them skin and bone. And Mrs. Cat shook her brindled head and went off by her lonesome lone. Elizabeth Coatsworth. Okay, there's one more. It's long. We'll give it a try. It's called The Addressing of Cats. It's written by T.S. Elliot. And the author says, who's the old Gumby cat must have convinced you that the famous poet is an authority on this subject. Well, I haven't read that book. I haven't read that book or story, but we will read this poem. You've read of several kinds of cat, and my opinion now is that you should need no interpreter to understand their character. You now have learned enough to see that cats are much like you and me, and other people whom we find possessed of various types of mind. For some are sane and some are mad, and some are good and some are bad, and some are better, some are worse, but all may be described in verse. You've seen them both at work and games and learned about their proper names, their habits and their habitat. But how would you address a cat? He puts a hyphen between the D's, so it's like address a cat. So first your memory I'll jog and say, a cat is not a dog. Now dogs pretend they like to fight. They often bark, more seldom bite. But yet a dog is, on the whole, what you would call a simple soul. Of course I'm not including peaks and such fantastic canine freaks. The usual dog about the town is much inclined to play the clown, and far from showing too much pride, is frequently undignified. He's very easily taken in. Just chuck him underneath the chin, or slap his back or shake his paw, and he will gambol and guffaw. He's such an easy-going lout, he'll answer any hail or snout. Again I must remind you that a dog's a dog, a cat's a cat. With cats some say one rule is true, don't speak until you're spoken to. Myself I do not hold with that. I say you should address a cat, but always keep in mind that he resents familiarity. Well, this certainly doesn't apply to our cats. Continuing. I bow and taking off my hat, address him in this form, O cat. But if he is the cat next door, whom I have often met before, he comes to see me in my flat. I greet him with an oops-a-cat. I think I've heard them call him James, but we've not got so far as names. Before a cat will condescend to treat you as a trusted friend, some little token of esteem is needed, like a dish of cream. And you might now and then supply some caviar or Strasbourg pie, some potted grouse or salmon paste. He's sure to have his personal taste. I know a cat who makes a habit of eating nothing else but rabbit, and when he's finished, licks his paws, so's not to waste the onion sauce. A cat's entitled to expect these evidences of respect, and so in time you reach your aim, and finally call him by his name. So this is this, and that is that, and here and there is how you address a cat. The end. Well, Maisie's still comfortable. Let's read about a poem called The Rabbit. When they said the time to hide was mine, I hid under a thick grapevine. And while I was still for the time to pass, a little gray thing came out of the grass. He hopped his way through the melon bed and sat down close by a cabbage head. He sat down close where I could see, and his big eyes still looked at me. I read that wrong. And his big still eyes looked hard at me. His big eyes bursting out of the rim, and I looked back very hard at him. Some poems don't have a lot of action. Let's see. Oh, there's many more I missed. The old gummy cat was right in here. We'll read it at a different time. But let me go back to another poem about cats. Sometimes cats are called pussy cats, and sometimes, like in England, they just say pussy instead of the cat. And so this poem uses that because it's from a British writer named Jane Taylor. I love little pussy, her coat is so warm, and if I don't hurt her, she'll do me no harm. So I'll not pull her tail, nor drive her away, but pussy and I very gently will play. She shall sit by my side, and I'll give her some food, and she'll love me because I am gentle and good. I'll pat little pussy, and then she will purr, and thus show her thanks for my kindness to her. I'll not pinch her ears, nor tread on her paw, lest I should provoke her to use her sharp claw. I never will vex her, nor make her displeased, for puss doesn't like to be worried or teased. By Jane Taylor. This next one is in the structure of a sonnet, which is a 14-line poem, usually divided into 8 and then 6 lines. Let's read it. On a night of sorrow. Cat, if you go outdoors, you must walk in the snow. You will come back with little white shoes on your feet. I forgot to show you the pictures of the one we just read above and this one. I'll start over. On a night of snow. Cat, if you go outdoors, you must walk in the snow. You will come back with little white shoes on your feet, little white slippers of snow that have heels of sleet. Stay by the fire, my cat. Lie still, do not go. See how the flames are leaping and hissing low. I will bring you a saucer of milk like a marguerite, so white and so smooth, so spherical and so sweet. Stay with me, cat. Outdoors the wild winds blow. And the cat answers, outdoors the wild winds blow, mistress, and dark is the night. Strange voices cry in the trees, intoning strange lore. And more than cats move, lit by our eyes' green light, on silent feet where the meadow grasses hang hoar. Mistress, there are portents abroad of magic and might, and things that are yet to be done. Open the door. That was by Elizabeth Wordsworth. See the cat waiting for the door to be opened. Okay. Now, dogs. There's a little dog in a bath. Like Nellie's had to have some baths. An introduction to dogs. The dog is man's best friend. He has a tail on one end. Up in front, he has teeth and 4 legs underneath. Dogs like to bark. They like it best after dark. They not only frighten prowlers away, but also hold the Sandman at bay. The Sandman is the way some people used to refer to sleep. A dog that is indoors to be let out implores. You let him out and then what? And what then? He wants back in again. Dogs display reluctance and wrath if you try to give them a bath. They bury bones in hideaways, and half the time they trot sideways. They cheer up people who are frowning and rescue people who are drowning. They also track mud on beds and chew people's clothes to shreds. Dogs in the country have fun. They run and run and run. But in the city, this species is dragged around on leashes, or they drag their owners. Dogs are upright as a steeple and much more loyal than people. That is Ogden Nash, the famous poet. This is what the editor of the book says about Ogden Nash. The dog, says everyone, is man's best friend, but Ogden Nash says it better and funnier. Nash does everything differently. He entertains readers with old sentences and startles them with queer rhymes. In order to make 2 unlikely words rhyme, he mangles one of them or makes up an entirely new word. In the previous poems, for example, he takes liberties with the word preposterous so that it appears to rhyme with rhinoceros. Who else but Nash could couple hideaways with sideaways? Well, that seems doable. Okay, I think I've been reading this one a long time. Oh yes, sorry about that.